As a matter of fact, the way that they pulled that Game 5 back was they had TWA, that is, they had a Minotaur that was right next to that island on Atlantic, and that little V shape that, the little
Yes.
depression where you
Yes.
can throw shots in there. I think it was in the video that Wargaming made for the that little trailer you guys played right at the beginning, and that was the turning point of
Yeah.
that match
I saw
for
that
Army.
play live when it happened, and I was excited to see Wargaming put that into the video because I thought it was really impressive. All right, we're
Yeah.
dropping now into traps, so game 2 coming up momentarily. Zedar going into this match with a 1-0 lead, needing 3 to win. And let's have a quick look at team compositions. What has changed, if anything? Now, CUTER, okay, so CUTER has made a change. They were earlier single Des Moines, triple Hindenburg. They have dropped to Hindenburg now and added a gearing. So they are now gearing, Grozavoy, double Hindenburg, Des Moines, Montana Yamato. That hasn't changed, and Hakuryu.
And on the ZR side, interestingly enough, Major Reed taking out the Moskva now instead of Des Moines. We saw this map with the Moskva being relatively ineffective. So it'll be interesting to see if they can make it work. And hey, I thought the same thing as Quad here. I'm gonna whack Umar a little.
Well, it's interesting you say ineffective, because this is one of the maps where a Moskva positioned correctly can be a very, or excuse me, it can have a very big influence on the game. A lot of times what teams will do is they'll shove it in next to the B cap, either in, let's see here, like G6 or F7 for the southeast spawn, and then Echo 4 and Delta 5 for the northwest spawn. And what it gives you is, what is it, 11.7 kilometer radar, and if you have the mod on it, it goes up to near 40 seconds. So you basically are able to spot so much with that radar. Nothing in and around B is able to stay hidden.
I'll be
and
curious.
If your team is able to work the angles, it works out.
I'll be curious to see how they make that work, because we've watched teams put a Moskva there near B before and then really struggle with it. The success that we've seen with keeping a radar cruiser near B cap has mostly come with Des Moines. We've seen Zedar stick Yasenpoi there before and have excellent success with it. I'm surprised to see him not doing that here, but obviously, maybe you read this as Moskva gonna play a role in how they intend to play this map against CUTER. Early deployment here. CUTER sending a gearing to C, a gearing to B. Looks like Destroyer Kuroshi Okai here just about to try and reverse his stern into B. Backed up at close range by a Des Moines, as Kasumi's DD's Grozavoy probably headed to A. Obviously in a bit of an air battle here, trying to flush out these bombers that are being used to spot his team early.
Yeah, those bombers got too deep in there. They're gone.
Yep.
That's unfortunate. There goes the spotting for the team. ZR is interestingly, they're pushing for A, but they've got a kind of subgroup going towards C right now. And I think what they're trying to do is cover both sides of the flanks so they can, penetrate one side, whatever's weakest.
Very interesting to see CUTER bring 3 destroyers, and not because it's an unmeta thing to do. It's just I haven't seen any of the EU teams bring 3Ds, none that I can remember off the top of my head. And I know that conventional wisdom tells me that the NA side gives a bit more precedent to having full AA spec boats. At least that's the word on the street that I'm getting from the players from both sides. But having 3 destroyers, at least on trap, it's a great idea, and that's something that we in APOC did whenever we played here, and we had pretty good success on this map. Running that, except for one of the games. But you got to be careful, though, because you don't have those hit points. You don't have that extra cruiser worth of hit points just to be able to tank damage, which sometimes it's needed.
There's only
the key is going to be in rotating your destroyers around and making sure that their presence is felt throughout the battle and not just in one spot.
No, absolutely. There's only a handful of maps in this rotation I would consider bringing 3 destroyers on, but this is absolutely one of those maps just because of the way these islands lay out, how constricted they can be, the few access points you have into these cap circles, all of these things playing a big role in terms of where you need a destroyer and how you're going to employ it.
Michelle's coming in on Dolphin Princess. Might have stuck his nose out just a bit too far. Nope. They good.
Zedar now picking up A early on, starting to build on a bit of a lead here, as somebody in B is contesting Kuroshi Okai's cap. Staring contest there, as let's see, who is this? Shigure DD's destroyer, as gearing, climbing up the 8 line here, kind of keeps turning away from C. Carefree Tongue's doing a really good job of picketing the bottom into C with those two fighter groups. Shiguri will absolutely be spotted if he continues north, so he keeps kind of slowing down, turning away. I think he's waiting now for Carrier Midway to bring in some of his fighters and help push these guys back, allow him access to that cap.
I was going to mention is that Carrier Midway is being a lot less aggressive than he was the last battle. He's definitely pulling his fighters back and his bombers back more often. Very much afraid to commit to an air war right now, which unfortunately might be an Achilles heel for CUTER here, because that means that ZR is going to have that edge on spotting.
SeaRaptor, where is the third CUTER destroyer? I cannot for the life of me understand why one of them has not gotten onto the sea cap up north.
That's what I was saying a minute ago.
Shiguri
DD is just about to enter the sea cap. He is in E8. He's about to turn into the cap, but Carefree Tongue has been picketing the bottom end of that cap circle right along the DE line with at least two fighter groups, and Shigure, for whatever reason, was unwilling to go up there and knowing he was going to be spotted. Kuroshio Kai,
I was a little late to the party.
That's okay. Kuroshio Kai going just out of the cap far enough to reset his cap points, taking a bit of random shell fire there, ducking back into B now.
Yeah, Carefree is winning the air war. Wait, but Shiguri is coming in with his defensive fire possibly on, and that's going to help.
Yeah, Shiguri, for whatever reason, seems skittish. He doesn't seem to want to go in there with those fighter groups around, and I'm really surprised because we know that a gearing with defensive AA up can absolutely get rid of those fighter groups whenever it wants to.
We saw Midway actually strafe some of his own fighters a second ago.
Well, he may be willing to make that trade just to clear out the cap a bit.
Wait, hold on. Midway strafed his own fighters in a hack?
Yeah.
All right, Shiguri now smoking up right on the edge of the C cap, continuing to contribute his A to the air battle as Kuroshio Kai looks like he might finally pick up B here. It's taken him almost 6 minutes, but no, it looks like the cap is halted again.
Yes, GRE once again turning into B cap to prevent the cap. That's really good because that's going to allow the southern group time to flank around, assuming that's what they're looking to do.
We have not spotted any of those ships that headed towards A in a very long time. So now ZR moving out to about a 100-point lead here. 6 minutes gone here on Trap as CUTER trying to find a way to start getting some points here. Looks like Shigure might actually pick up C. He's not spotted, I don't think, in that smoke. Don't think there's anybody coming for him, so C it is. CUTER picking up their first cap here at the 13-minute mark, as Kuroshio Kai continues to have a staring contest across the B cap.
I'm not sure what these guys north at C are trying to do anymore. It looked like they were heading towards C, but then now they're turning around. They're heading back south again. I think they're anticipating a major push from CUTER through Charlie. So I think they're getting ready to kite away.
I don't know. I don't
just trade damage.
I don't see that push happening. You've got Shigure in the cap. He's backed up by Cruzakino's Hindenburg at about 4 or 5 clicks behind him. But Zuikaku Deri's Yamato is all the way down the 8 line in F8. Not really anywhere close to that cap. He's reversing now, but he doesn't seem interested in pushing.
It's a very interesting spot. I'll leave it at that.
That's about what I was thinking as well. I'm questioning the wisdom of that position, but that's where he is. So we'll see how it goes. Meantime, CUTER's force over here to the east of A, fairly not, I'll say beat up. They're fairly healthy, but they are not really accomplishing much. You've got a destroyer Sashio's Hindenburg and smoke down there on the J line. Kasumi Didi's Grozovoy kind of patrolling in front of him, backed up by a Montana here. Who is this? This is Shinano Explosive, but they're not really. They're not really pushing the cap.
Yep.
SeaRaptor, please correct me if I'm wrong, but when ZR played against 07 in that semifinal game, if I recall correctly, they not only spawned on the northwest side, but they made a push to A. And does it look similar to what they were doing against DevStrike?
This does not, because what they did in that game on this map, they spawned on the western side of the map, just like you said. But they pushed 2 Hindenburgs, a Yamato, and I think a Gearing straight through A, right down 07's throat. And 07s, I think they had a Montana, a Hindenburg, and somebody else kind of retreated up the 9-10 line for a while. A big, long running gunnery duel that finally culminated people dying, at the 18-minute mark. Like, it was just a tremendous amount of fire exchange for very little gain in that match. And in the end, ZR did win the map. It was their one win in that particular matchup. It worked out well. We don't really see them.
Score got
Go ahead.
Dropped down for a sec there, popped his defensive fire, managed to, hold off the torp bombers. Good play there. Now he's smoking up. He's possibly... Nope, B is being contested. Never mind.
Yep, the staring contest at B continues. Neither team getting any kind of advantage here. CUTER forces now moving into C. We've got Shigure and Cruiser Kinu well into C now. Zuikaku Dere has finally come around up on the E line, backing them up a little closer range.
One thing I like is that GRE is not sitting in the cap. He's allowing the cap to tick up. It doesn't matter who sits there and pisses longer as long as the cap is stopped right before it's done.
Yep.
Yasenpoi took a big hit.
Where is
Yasen?
Yasen?
He's going to take a hit as well.
Oh, he's up north. I see him now. Yasenpoi looks like... I'm assuming those were Yamato shells.
Like 6 torps? Yep, 6 torps.
6 torps.
Another lovely drop by Carefree Tongue, really showing the power of the Hakuryu when you're able to outplay the other carrier.
Was that Shinano that took those torps?
Yes, sir.
I missed it. That's okay. Big map. We can't cover everything here as Destroyer Asashio eats a big salvo down here on the J line. Those long-range gearing torps really paying off for ZR.
Watch him sink.
Blowing him off the board in smoke. That's the first kill of the match going to ZR here on Trap.
That push through C that you were talking about earlier, SeaRaptor, it is materializing. They got, looks like the Yamato, the Hindenburg, and then I would presume that the gearing is over there as well.
Yep, he is laying smoke for Cruiser Kinu's Hindenburg. Kinu well into C, continuing to shell the Montana and the Hindenburg when he can get eyes on them. Zuikaku Dere's Yamato now in an interesting position, able to exert some pressure onto B if they can spot somebody to kill.
Yeah, the Moskva is in big trouble if he gets spotted right now. But I don't know if that's going to happen. It depends on if the Des Moines here, killing time, decides to stop killing time and do something.
Well, Zuikaku ran aground a little bit on an island over here. He's going to have to readjust himself and get his guns turned into that cap. But right now, he's been busy shelling Yasenpoi. Yasenpoi is probably the lowest team member on ZR, the only one who's really under threat of death. They're keeping him spotted with a dive bomber way over on the A line, up in A2. The fighter's now going up there to clean that guy out, realizing that that's what's keeping Yasenpoi spotted. Dive bomber has nowhere to run. He'll be out shortly. But as long as Yasen's spotted, they're going to keep shelling him.
But the important thing, though, is in the south flank, I mean, now that Hindenburg is gone, Asashio, it's open season on that Montana. And we just see him getting punished hard for that.
Shinano explosive now getting punished down here on the H line. No real force now stopping any kind of ZR push straight through A. Kasumi Didi's Grozavoy is about the only thing between that Montana and the entire rest of the ZR fleet in A.
That's some Yamato shells coming in, possibly on the Montana.
8 minutes.
No, it's on Yasen.
It's on Yasen. Look at that hang time.
8 minutes to play. 220-point lead and holding for ZR here on Trap in Game 2.
And once again, see, they stop the cap, force the enemy destroyer to get off, and
there's some torpedoes coming down from the north here.
That's gonna get him.
Oh,
Jerry's gone.
Yep.
1 and 2. Oh,
he dodges the second one.
Wow.
The desync right there.
Dodges the second one, but he must be low now.
Under the rear turret.
Yeah. Oh, they just set the torpedo too deep, that's all.
Well, that's interesting now. Destroyer Kurushio now having to rotate back to smoke, killing time here. He's under continuous fire from the Des Moines down in A.
SAT score does have some torps going in on the Des Moines of CUTER that's sitting at the corner.
GRE score was spotted there briefly. It looked like he took some Yamato shells. Zuikaku Dere now taking his Yamato directly into the B cap. It looks like he's had enough of this Montana gearing holding off his team.
Yeah, I think he's decided that it's time to exert some pressure on this side.
I said Montana, I meant Moskva.
No, that's good.
The thing, though, is that right now he's the only thing spotted. He's the only thing for the southern team to start shooting at, and we're going to see he's going to take a lot of damage very quickly.
He's about to take a lot of hate here. Destroyer Kuroshio Kai now well into B, I think, and so is McKillen Times. Des Moines, I think they're going to make a run for this island at B and try and push these guys out of B. This will be curious to see how we pull this off.
They smoked up Dolphin Princess down right at the edge of A, and he's getting some very nice medium range-ish shots into Zuikaku Dare's Yamato.
Indeed,
so.
GRE score spotted now on about 3,500 HP outside the cap. There's now 3 CUTER ships in B. It's going to be interesting to see. I don't think they're going to be able to reset them all. I think eventually CUTER will pick up this cap. I strongly suspect... Ooh, that's a big kill. Cruiser Kenyu going down up here at C.
Very nice shot.
Time just got hit.
Indeed.
Now, you see, that's a good teaching point right there. That team that was pushing through C, they got the cap and they made a nice push in there. But if you overextend just a little bit too much, it's very easy to, I guess, become lazy and forget about those ships that are currently in Charlie 3. And as soon as they turned just a little bit south and exposed that broadside,
McKillen Time getting punished here in B. 1,800 hit points and falling, and there he goes. Shells coming in from all directions on Zuikaku Kai and McKillen. Kuroshio Kai continuing to tick up B here, but CUTER now over 400 points down with 5 minutes to play here in Game 2.
Yeah, and it's definitely not worth it to make this kind of trade just to get a cap.
No.
Exactly.
Yep, there goes Zuikaku. As ZR moves to basically within 100 points of victory, a costly cap for CUTER, losing 3 ships in the process.
And I have a feeling that Major Reedus is just waiting for his team to say, pop the radar.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if you're ZR at this point, you literally don't even have to show yourself. You just chill and let the points tick up. You have a 500-point lead.
Mm-hmm. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this gearing that's at Charlie. Oh, there's some torpedoes. Just what I was expecting to see coming, but GRE is not there anymore.
Mm-hmm. Shigure has just basically left C, knowing that there's nobody really up there that can contest the cap, and there's anyone left to smoke. He's coming down to B, but I think it's going to be too little too late here. It's just a huge mountain for CUTER to climb. They need a kill, and I look at the map. I don't know where they're going to get one. Mechanics is probably their best bet.
Yes, I was just about to say that, but Shinano is also being focused. He's on fire right now.
Do they have anyone around to smoke up Mechanics?
No.
No, they
Shinano
don't.
also very low, 40, 3,700 and falling. More shells coming in. He's going to go down. No, he puts the fires out, and there he goes.
Doesn't matter.
Nope. ZR looking very strong to bag Game 2 here as they close to within 20 points of victory. CUTER desperately needing a kill, but I don't see where they're going to get one.
Not going to happen anymore.
I mean, they're down to 3 destroyers and the carrier. Just don't see it.
Look at a border humper.
Yep. Well, and you saw, too, his shells just completely bounced off of Mechanics. So
one more tick for ZR, and the game will end. And there it is. ZR picks up Game 2 here on Trap in the North American third-place match.
Now, Raptor, what do you think is going on over on the CUTER Discord voice chat? What are they talking about now? Look at the plane.
I was just fixing to say, I'll tell you what, if it's me, I'm trying to talk to Midway to be like, wow, man, I don't know what we're doing wrong, but this is bad. The CUTER carrier is just getting destroyed. I mean, this is not even a contest.
You know, CUTER's made a very nice run in this tournament, and it's nice to see that that they're back, at the forefront of comp NA play. But I think it was apparent that when they got beat 3-0 in the semifinal last week by PSV, that they may have finally met their match. And it's arguable that ZR is even better than PSV. And I think that this is clearly showing right now. Obviously, they're doing all that they can. But between the carrier battle being won decisively by ZR and very smart play from the surface ships from ZR, that are not carriers, this has just been very, very dominant, to say the least.
Something else you look at here, ZR didn't even lose a ship. Like, that is very rare at this level of play.
Yes.